So I wanted to talk about something today that I want to be clear from the start is actually not at all political. It is, however, something that is part of a national conversation here in the US. And because it's many people are talking about it and it's on people's minds, I realize it's a great opportunity to show people how what's going on in a political arena directly connects to things that you can use to help you grow in your business arena. So when you look at what's going on with the conversation regarding Trump and the recent election, or maybe he could have been reelected and it was only down to 70,000 votes or less than that, or really a small number, it shows that maybe there are small things that you could do to have changed that really quickly. And so again, this is not political, but it's taking something going on in politics and seeing how that could affect your profits. Does that make sense? So the first thing that really stood out to me when it came to talking about this reelection is where people were pointing out, a lot of the numbers of the ballots as they were coming in on election day, they were actually from the live voter ballots. So I've read. And the mail-in ballots were where all of a sudden Trump's lead started to really shrink and Biden started to take the lead. And then eventually it's really those states where they kept coming in with more and more and more mail-in ballots that were all in Biden's favor, or many of them were in Biden's favor, where suddenly that was where Biden took the lead. Now, I'm not saying it's true, it's not true, whatever it was. But let's talk about what Trump was saying before the election and how this directly connects to your business. So before the election was happening, Trump was saying, listen, guys, there's going to be massive major voter fraud. Remember he said that? And then what he said when he did that, what he was doing when he said that was actually really powerful and something that I've seen so many business owners do, and it affects them negatively in their business. It actually sabotages their success sometimes. So I wanted to highlight that because that's really the valuable lesson to bring to light here. So the first thing that he did when he said there's going to be major voter fraud, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I'm not here to talk about that. That's not the focus of what we're doing here. When he says that, though, the people that listen to that, the people that actually, when you say something over and over, what you're doing is you're actually affirming, you're actually creating, when you say something with intense emotion, you're actually creating this newfound belief or strengthening an existing belief. So people believe and people change their behavior when they hear something over and over again that is said with emotion. So in personal development, we call that affirmations, right? Where you say something and you affirm it, where you say it intensely. Now, when you say something with emotion and you say it over and over again, people believe it, people change their behavior, and then people say, you know what? Here's how they changed their behavior. Maybe they didn't trust the mail-in ballots, because if they believe there's going to be massive voter fraud with mail-in ballots, they were not going to do it. So the area where he lost is actually the area where he was pointing out there's going to be major voter fraud, right? So it makes sense. It makes sense because people who like him and who believed what he had to say were the ones who were probably going to listen to what he had to say and change their behavior accordingly. Now, again, let's zoom out from Trump. Let's say you say something, and maybe you're not fully aware of what you're saying in your business, or you're saying to a client, or you're able to, when you're marketing, or you're speaking to potential clients, or you're in the copy or the content that you write when you're if you use social media or email marketing, or whatever, when you're, let's say, meeting with a live client, right? Meeting in person. When you say something with emotion, what are you saying to them? What are you letting them know? What are you affirming? Because words literally can change reality, right? When Trump said those words, I do believe that there are many people that might have shifted their behaviors because they do trust him. And therefore, they heard it over and over. They believed it. So they did something different. Could you imagine if you could be aware of how to use this in your business, when you're actually doing sales, when you're actually looking to prospect, when you're looking to grow and impact your team? Maybe you have a sales team, maybe you have a marketing department. Whatever that is in your business that you're looking to get to the next level, look at where it is that there's a gap right now and say, well, how can we use words, affirming, and how can we be more conscientious about how we can use those to change the reality of the success that we have in our business? Because words change reality on two planes. So first of all, on the first plane is prayer. Right? So I'm Jewish. According to Jewish law, it requires words to be spoken, not thought to oneself. They have to be spoken in order to count. So prayer has the ability, we believe that prayer has the ability to change things, to change reality, to impact our present and our future. So that's plain one, that you actually have to use those words and the words actually have power to them. Second one is that words impact actions. If you say, I hear this all the time, cold calling is dead. Now, let's say the guy who sees that, and I saw someone post that this morning. If I see that, and I know that I used cold calling to close multiple six figures of business over the course of my business, I know for a fact that cold calling is not dead because it works for me. But if I heard that over and over again, I might start to change that belief. And if I heard it over and over again from someone that I trust and I believe what they say, and they said it with emotion, that's going to really massively start to impact the way that I do things and negatively affect my business. Does that make sense? So what are you affirming? Let's look at your results. Let's look at your bank, your sales, your stress level, right? What challenges or inconveniences are in your life? That is the key to see what are you affirming. What are the words? What is the internal dialogue? What's the internal conversation going on either inside your business, at the conference room, or inside your mind as a business owner where you are actually creating some results in your life? Because the way it works is like this. Words lead to emotions. The way you talk about something leads to how you feel about it, right? Let's say, people talk about the election. So people get so angry and some people get so excited. But the difference between the two is literally just one thing: how they are describing to themselves, the words they are using to give meaning and definition to what happened in the election. Same situation, same circumstance, but two people could have totally different views because one's using words that's saying it's amazing, the best thing, and one's using words that's saying it's the terrible, worst thing. And so it's words lead to emotions lead to actions, and actions lead to results. And at the beginning of that, you also have beliefs. The way that someone believes something leads to the words that they say. So Trump said something. People, I believe, changed their beliefs based upon that. And even if you had less than 70,000 people, even if you had 35,000 people, let's say, who believed what he said because he affirmed it, that could have been his own sabotaging his reelection. I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he did. Listen to the beginning of the video. I make it very clear this is not political. However, what I want you to see is that this ties into your business. It ties into when you're making sales. When you're speaking to someone and they give you a sales objection. When you're speaking to someone and they're having questions about your marketing. When you're putting information out there, maybe you're paying for an ad. Maybe you're speaking to an employee. What are you affirming? You want to know? Look at the result of the situation that you're dealing with right now. And that will help you see what you're affirming. Because whenever you have an inconvenience or you have a challenge in what's showing up, you get to say, you know what is it that I'm affirming? So, for example, do you drive through town and you're thinking, I want to avoid red lights, right? So I want to avoid people that drive slow, or there's always so much traffic in the city. And now you're saying these words in your mind, or maybe you're even saying them out loud, and you're starting to feel the emotion of that, the stress of being late, the frustration of being behind people who drive slow, maybe the anger of always hitting and trying to avoid those red lights. So then what happens? What happens? You hit the red light, you get stuck behind the slow driver, and then you hit the red light, right? And then there's traffic in the city as you're about to get to the really important meeting and you're already running late because you hit the red light and you're behind the slow driver. That's what happens. Words said with energy and emotion over and over again create an affirmation. They affirm something. They change reality. So when someone says there's going to be voter fraud, that might lead to people not voting. And I want you to look at what you're affirming in your business. My employees are blank. Fill in the blank. What are your employees? My employees are the best. They're slow. They're some of them are good. When I add new people on, it takes more time. It costs more money, so I don't really want to grow my team. Or what are you affirming? Business growth equals less time with family, and therefore equals pain. If you associate pain with growing your business, those are just the words going on in your mind. And look at that. You're sabotaging your own ability to grow your business. What are you affirming? And how might it be sabotaging your success? Because I want to invite you to think about this. Maybe even rewatch the video and see, how can I change what I'm doing currently in my business so that I'm no longer impacting and sabotaging the next levels that I'm already ready to do, ready to achieve? Thank you for tuning into Wednesday Wisdom. See you next week, 10 a.m. Eastern, every Wednesday.